Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's yours truly, Mr. J. Martin, Renaissance Man, and welcome to True Patriot Love. And today is one of my first podcasts, but I'm happy because if I'm doing comedy as a comedian, I've got to bring the best of the best. So I grabbed these two. Not even the best of the best, but I grabbed these two.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
I grabbed two good friends, two good comedians here. They're here joining me for this special today, and it's going to be amazing. We're just going to talk comedy and why people love comedy. Comedy makes you laugh. It makes you feel good. It builds up the endorphins. It's what people need to stay alive. But in these times that we are living in, I think is the most important time for comedy. So let me introduce my guests to you while we have them here. First, we have Crystal Ferrier. Say hi. Tell them a little about yourself.
I'm Crystal. I've been doing comedy for almost 20 years now.
Yes.
And I've known Jay for that whole time.
Yes, I remember. And we have here Mr. Jesse Singh in the house.
Yes, with profit. My name is Jesse Singh. I've been doing comedy for about 10, 11 years.
Okay.
And bro, when I started, I was a huge fan of your work. So it's
really?
dope. It's like a full circle moment. So
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Thank you. You're aging me. Yes. I started doing it kind of 30 years, but publicly we did about 23, 25 years.
Yeah.
Me and my boy John Paul, we developed that Trinidad versus Jamaica show, and it's different. Coming into comedy, we're different. So now that we have like the 25 plus and the 20 and the 10, 11 years, difference in coming in. First time, give them an experience of your first time, and I'll give them an experience of my first time. You want to go first?
Sure.
Go ahead.
For the first time, like comedy.
Yeah, we're talking to your first comedy
Got it.
experience, not when you were
I was gonna
whatever
get
age.
awkward. First time doing comedy was at a little bar in Brampton.
Okay.
And the bar was called CC's on
Okay.
Kennedy Road, if you're familiar with
Yeah.
Brampton. I'm sure it's closed down now.
Well, I'm sure it is too.
Okay. But I did like 3 jokes kind of about my mom and being Indian.
Yes.
And it was about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And it went super well for my first time, which
Really?
I've heard after that people bomb on their first time.
Yeah.
Usually happens.
So I was really lucky. And then I met a few comedians,
Mm-hmm.
Keisha Brownie, who introduced me to this mic,
Right.
and Cedric
Yes.
Newman
Oh,
for the
wow.
first. That's the first time I met Cedric.
There?
There.
Okay.
And he actually introduced me to Kenny
Wow.
like a few weeks later.
Wow.
And Kenny put me on the Nubian show.
Wow.
Yeah. So
For your second time?
my second time
That's
was
crazy.
the Nubian show.
Listen to you.
Right? Which is
Really?
I didn't know that was
Incredible.
not the
You didn't
normal.
know it was no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We lived kind of like the same kind of life real quickly. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna gaslight it, but I did my first comedy show private with some friends, invited them a dare. I had my jokes hidden behind a speaker so I could read them.
Yeah.
But I did like 35 minutes feeling great. And my first ever show was at York Event Theater down at Young and Eglinton. Russell Peters was the host. I did the show nervous, like you were nervous, right?
Of course.
Like I wanted to
Holy.
vomit. It was terrible. And I get out there and I do my set and I ended on an Indian ending dance, which was my trademark. Thank you to Indians.
Yes.
Y'all my peoples. And I got a standing ovation, and Russell was, again, this is my second time. First time was private, that was public, first time. And Russell's like, when did you start? And I said, today. And he's like, no way.
Yeah.
And he brought me again to Kenny, and my second show was at Nubian. I started in June, and I headlined by December, which is crazy.
That's
which is
mad.
crazy.
So I didn't know we had a similar story.
yeah, I
like
didn't know
that.
this. This is the
That's
first time I'm
wild.
hearing that. Like,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like I did open mics. I never
Yeah.
did that,
No,
and I headlined
same.
by December. When was your first time? Tell us about it. The experience. Like, yeah, loosen up, bro. Let me know.
First time, no, yeah, bro. First time I was 18.
Okay.
And it wasn't as extravagant as that. I
No,
was
we're two of the greats.
Yeah,
we're two of the greats. Like,
But
hurry up.
first time I did it was an amateur night at Absolute Comedy, which
Okay.
even still is like kind of an anomaly because usually the first time people do open mics, there's like, it's just a rundown bar.
Yeah.
Right.
But this was like first time at a comedy club. And I remember leading up to it, it was like, you had the sign up was like the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. You had to call in, but you were literally calling for like, not even exaggerating, like 200
Forever.
times.
Yeah.
Like they would just have the
Serious.
lines always busy. So like I would literally run. I was at work at the time, and I would be like, yo, I gotta use the washroom, and then I would go to the run to the washroom, just start calling for like 30 minutes
Yeah.
straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then for 3 months consecutively, I called in. Then they gave me a spot for the month after. So you book a month. You book
advance.
a month in advance.
Right.
And at that time, I didn't think far enough ahead. So as soon as I got the spot, that's when I was like, oh, I need material.
Right. Called your way
You're
in
like,
without.
I can't just show up.
I can't just show up. And then I remember like scrambling to like come up with 5-7 minutes. And then it was show day, and I brought out a bunch of my friends.
Of course.
People came out to watch. And I still remember the guy hosting was this Asian dude with dreads. I don't think he still does it.
Listen, stop.
Asians
That-
with
that
dreads.
doesn't exist.
He doesn't do
Who
it.
was that?
It was a dude named Alan Yu. I think he became like a mortgage broker. He got
Really?
he got a real job after.
I don't know of
I've
a
never
Rasta
heard of-
Asian.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Rasta. I think he just I think he was just cosplaying. But
Because I was going to say, like, because
Yeah.
Rastas don't eat pork and Asians
no,
love pork.
yeah,
Like,
bro.
How
It's
did
the
he
first,
live through
first
that?
Rasta that had gout that I
Oh, I can't with you. I can't with you. I
But-
can't with you.
But anyways, I go up and like same thing, bro. It was like I crushed and
Nice.
and
All
it went
right.
really well. And I think I've been chasing that dragon
Right.
like forever. Cause
The
it's
high,
like
the real good high.
Yeah, that's like the first. The first is always the craziest experience in
Yes,
any
it is.
scenario.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
In every life experience,
True.
your first one, your first punch in the face,
Yeah.
is an experience. You're
Absolutely.
like, "Frick, how the hell did that
Yeah.
happen?" So I get you. I get you. So that being said, the three of us had a very good story
Yes.
for our first time. But then with everything good in the world,
Yes.
there's some bad.
100%.
Yeah.
And so your first bombing.
Oh,
First bombing, I'll start. My
Yeah.
first bombing was exactly after that. I'm here 6 months in, I'm headlining. I'm the shit. I think I'm
Yeah.
the best comedian ever. I'm like, what are these people taking so long? And I get booked. That time, Russell Peters had an agent, Ed Smeal, and he booked me for a show at the Niagara Falls Casino. And I'm like, who does casinos in 6 months?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the man. But I thought it was like, welcome to Casino, Jay Martin. And I was like, nah, this was like a room in the side corner where people go to lose money and they aren't happy at all. And I mean, it was just a clock. I went there with Mark Trinidad and there was a clock there that had 30 minutes in a countdown and there's a track
Yeah.
that just said, introducing the next comedian. No name, no intro, no DJ, nothing to what I was used to. I lasted 19 minutes in the first set and just couldn't do it anymore.
That's
and
Yeah.
Mark
crazy,
came in
bro.
and cleaned up my time. And then we did it again for another hour. It was paying wicked. It was like
Right,
$3,000.
of course.
And the next one I made it to 21 and Mark saved my life. So Mark will always be known as a lifesaver to me.
Yeah.
Good jokes or bad jokes. Mark Trinidad saved my life that day. Second time I got to tell you, I got the same year into the Halifax Comedy Festival.
Nice.
And they came to see us at Yuck Yucks at the showcase. And they're like, there's no way he's a rookie. Like, we're not going to put him as new faces,
Right.
which
Yeah,
they
yeah.
should have put my
Right.
ass as new faces because I ate it. Ate it.
Yes.
Like Jim cameras were coming,
Yeah.
and every joke I told was this one lady was like, one.
There was a
And everyone-
spiel in the
Yeah,
audience.
the spiel was like, but one. I couldn't go back to the green room. The green room had everybody there, John Doerr,
Right.
all these big
Oh,
comedians.
no.
I couldn't go back to the green room. I
my
was just like,
days,
going back to the green room, I wanted to vomit. I'm like, I'm that
Yeah.
shit. I'm this shit. Like,
Yeah.
why do I bomb on national television? I was in the corner crying, like real crying. And John Paul was like, cut that shit out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll never do this again. So every comedian has a bad day, and I've never had another bad day again like that. Like, we've had bad shows that are
Yeah,
set up
yeah,
to be
yeah.
bad shows,
Right.
but like bomb like that, like God put me in my head was like,
Yeah, bro.
pop. Like,
Yeah.
that was it. When's your first bombing? Come on, let me hear it, girl.
You know what? I don't know which came first. I have two that
Okay.
stick out. And I think they were the only two times that I really, really bombed.
Right.
But one of the times that stuck out was at that time, Trix had just gotten let go from Flow.
Okay.
And so he was like in the
Ranting.
building ranting, and he told all of us that we have to diss Flow. Like, you got to go, Flow sucks.
Wow.
Right. And we're like,
He
yeah,
always
yeah,
wants
yeah.
people
All
to
right,
fight
cool.
the
cool.
battles with him. What's going
We're
on?
like, cool, cool. And at that time, I didn't really know any better. You
Right.
know, I like Trix. I was like, wow, he's really funny.
Yes.
And so I'm going to do what he tells me to do.
Okay.
So I get on, and I didn't even make a joke about it. I just said, I just want you guys to know Flow sucks. And it was like in the beginning of my set, real amateur,
Yeah.
you know. And then they kind of looked at me like, huh? And then, you know, when you hear the rumble,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. And then, you know, you feel the sweat on
Oh,
your
it's
back.
coming. It's coming.
You're like, oh, it's coming. It's coming. Luckily, I was able to save it. And
Yeah.
I didn't get booed or anything.
Lucky you.
So I just started like into my material, and I pretended like nothing happened.
Right.
But it was work, you know,
to have to work it back.
to have to get it back.
Second time, give it to
Second time, I was on stage with actually Keisha Brownie. We were doing a 2-woman show where we dressed up. I was the old Indian auntie, and
I remember these sketches.
the old Jamaican auntie. And we're used to like we did it at Nubian and killed it. Like I'm talking standing O, like people loved us. So we're feeling nice. We go to do it on a Tuesday night. All white people in the audience.
They were like, who?
At Yuck Yucks. Yo, someone called Keisha Miss Doubtfire.
I can't.
Someone goes, who's this Jamaican Miss Doubtfire?
Yelled it out.
Do you know how embarrassed we were? We left out the back door. We could not even face anybody.
Greatest
And Keisha's like, yo, this guy called me Miss Doubtfire. I was like, yo, trust me, I know. I heard it. So those are the 2 stories for me.
What about you, Jess?
Bro, so after that first time, like the same thing you were talking about, in my head, I'm like, I'm untouchable, right? Yeah. And then I still remember this. Mike Rita, shout out to Mike Rita. He was the first person to give me, person to give me a paid spot. It was $20, but it was like, for a first time comedian, you're like that. This is mine. Yeah. So, and it was at Vapor Central, which, if anyone is familiar with, is like this weed lounge, and it was always packed. 100+ people.
Yes.
And this is my first time ever performing in front of a high crowd, but also having to follow Mike Rita because he used
that's not what you do.
No. And he used to host. So like he was going up, destroying, killing.
Yes.
And first of all, it's like, it's a high crowd already, which people think when you tell them like, they're like, they probably laugh at everything. It's
it's the opposite.
They don't even know where they are.
Yeah,
like,
100%. It's just silence.
Bro, they're looking at you like you're a TV. Like they're like, is this guy real?
Why are you talking back to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100.
And I remember I had 10 minutes. I probably did 3 because I was talking so fast. I was talking over my punchlines. I just wasn't used to the silence. Like silence was one thing, but when it's quiet and the only thing you hear is a man coughing, like dying,
it's nasty.
It's the worst, bro.
It's nasty.
And I remember getting off, and I remember apologizing to Mike. I being like, bro, I'm so sorry. He's like, nah, man, don't worry about it.
Don't watch that.
Yeah, he's like, don't watch that.
Yeah, and those ones suck because you're in those cases, and not to cut you, but you want to give the money back. It feels so bad. You know what I mean? I've had some shows where I'm like, well, it's $450. You probably need $150 back. It's just the law of the game. But we're needed to do this. We're laugh doctors, is which I like to refer to us as, and we keep going. We just 100%. Keep going. We keep going.
Right.
And why I chose you guys to be one of my 2 first guests is because you guys share a common denominator as being.
We both have beards. Oh,
yes.
Both.
Well, you trimmed yours.
Just
well
for
done.
You.
Thank you.
For you.
So special. No, you're both Indian, but you're married to non-Indians. Like, how did you guys manage that? How was this wedding? What happened? Are you ostracized from other Indians? You came out of your race. It's such a race-related time. Like, I'll start with you, Jesse.
Yes.
Where's your wife from, and why'd you do it, bro? Why did you disobey your people?
I'm dead.
Go get it.
His mom is not gonna.
Bro, this guy.
I was saying the same people. All right, go ahead.
He's actually undercover for my uncle right now, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. My wifey's Guyanese. So actually, it's not super far off.
Not too bad.
Heritage-wise, they're Indian, but
tell your mom that.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, bro.
Right.
They like. So in the beginning, I think I always knew that I wasn't gonna marry a Punjabi woman, just because, like, not because like there's any animosity, wrong with it, but I think it's because similar to what Crystal talked about this on stage, like growing up, a lot of my community, a lot of my inner circle were Caribbean people, right? Like, I never really grew up around Indians, and like after when I was out in the world on my own doing comedy and I started getting booked for Desi shows, I slowly started realizing a lot of my people that are from India or like people from my community actually didn't even really fully accept me because they almost saw me as like, oh, this guy's not Indian enough, or he's cosplaying being this brown face, but that's not who he is, and da da da. So I felt like there was this internal battle I had with identity. But the one people that did accept me were Caribbean people.
There you go.
You know, and then I remember meeting my wife at a comedy show. Ironically, she was in the audience, and then
Really?
Best place to get that booty, baby.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wow.
and I was just doing crowd work, and then after that, we kind of like, you know, chatting it up, and one thing led to another. I think the biggest hurdle though with my family was that like they didn't understand the culture, they didn't understand the background, and like even trying to explain that like they're from India. It's just that during colonization, they were taken as indentured workers, whatever.
Right.
They still saw them as like a different type of people.
Correct.
Right. Or like even in some cases, like a lower caste, which is crazy.
Well, hey, that's what we do. Anytime it takes out of your race, the other race is lower.
Yeah.
Like that's what ends up happening. How about for you, Crystal? Like, come on, girl. I know your husband, and I know
him.
I got to tell a story before you actually start.
Okay, I'm scared.
I remember when I did a show out in Calgary, or it was Alberta. You were out there. You were out there, and he came over to me, and he was like, "You know her?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he wasn't asking me to help pick her up, but you should have seen he was nervous. He was like, I've liked her for some time. Like, I don't know if I should step to her. And I was like, well, she loves Jamaican mud. I'm kidding.
Oxtail.
But anyway, she loves oxtail. Lead with oxtail and see what happens. But tell us, how did that kind of form into it?
So just to like reiterate what Jesse was saying, same thing. Like I was born in India.
Yeah,
Were you
exactly.
born in Canada?
Yeah, I was born in Toronto.
Okay, Toronto, that's crazy. I was born in India. Even when I go back to India, they refer to me as NRI, which is a non-resident Indian.
Wow.
So they have that's a category. Like they're like, oh, she's an NRI.
Really? And you're born there?
And I was born there. But when I came here, the same thing. I didn't really resonate. So like we grew up Catholic. Right. Okay. So it's like a Christian background. Right. And so a lot of people that were here were Punjabis in Brampton. Right. And we didn't like Punjabis don't look at us the same. Right. They look at us as very different. Right. Even though, okay, I think it's the same.
Right. Yeah. But they're like, you're not Punjabi, you're Christian.
Right. So I wasn't Indian enough. I wasn't white enough for the white people at school. Are you serious?
Okay.
Obviously.
You're the lightest Indian girl I know.
Yes.
Go on.
Tell that to my mom. But it's Jamaicans because we had a group of Jamaicans at school always playing dominoes in the cafeteria. And you know, you can't see it now, but I have a backside. And so they'd be like, big body girl, come sit with us. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but somebody invited me to sit with them.
You're like,
so I was excited. I was like, I don't know Batia. Is that
the super fan?
Super
fan? Is that my butt? Batia.
Super Batia.
Super Batia. That's a superhero. That should be my name, right?
That's funny.
Super Batia.
Yes.
But so like for me, I was just happy to be invited into a group of people that were like, yo, you're cool. Like you don't have to change. They don't want me to become more Caribbean. They were just like, we like this Indian girl the way she is. Exactly. Right. So for me, it felt like love. I felt accepted. Good. Yeah. So yes, after that, I dated mostly Jamaican men, right? And so with my husband now, I did meet him in Alberta, and he did try for a very long time because you know what, like Sterling Scott, he was out in Alberta, and so my husband asked him the same thing, like, who's this girl? Like, I really like her, and Sterling was like, yo, that girl's front is on auction. Like, there's men lined up, and they're like, wow.
To the biggest bidder.
Right? So I was like,
auction is crazy.
Right? Yeah. So I was like, no, but you know what? I was coming out of a relationship at that time and no one really knew. It was kind of secret. Right. And so I wasn't really on the market. So yes, men that approached me, I was like, no, I'm good. Like, you know, and they're like, but are you single? I'm like, yeah. So that's why they were like, oh no, like, you know,
too much.
Right.
Yeah. Good.
So anyways, that's how I met him. And the thing with the family as well, like I have this joke. I'm like, my mom loves my husband, even though he's Jamaican. Because when I introduced them, I just told her that he's Sri Lankan. And so I'm getting canceled. Guys.
So like what do you do?
Yeah. So like, you know, it's a big joke. But my mom knew. She told me she knew that I would bring home like a Jamaican man.
This is where I have to ask this question. Is it like with the parents like, I always knew he was gay.
Absolutely.
It was like
100.
I always knew she was going to be a black one.
Black box. My mom's like, I remember even her cooking. Like, do you know what kebabs are? You know what kebabs are. Yes. Like cooking kebabs. And I don't know, I like my food, like, barbecue, like burnt, like, So I'm like, Ma, like, can you burn my kebab? And she'd be like, of course, you like the burnt kebab.
Yeah, she do it.
And I'm like, oh, she knows. She knows.
The word is out.
Right?
Speaking of the word is out, I'm transitioning here. The word is out. That comedians talk. That's what we do for a living. So after we're on stage, we get off stage, and all these little gossips and rumors are out there. And I'm gonna touch on it because from those rumors derives beefs.
Yeah.
We're going to hear a story from a comedian and we're going to embellish because that's what we do best. But between all of that embellishment, there's some truth in it.
Right.
Some beefs that you guys got into without even knowing you were in these beefs within the comedy world. You don't have to feel like nervous to call names, but beefs happen.
Yeah.
One of your experiences that you might have, not everybody's all great.
Yeah.
And you start, give me an example of one.
Probably without naming names, but I think I've talked to Crystal about this one where it's like a bigger comedian approached me about teeth in a joke. And for people that aren't in the community, that's like the worst thing you could ever do. Well, one of the worst things. I'm not saying it's the worst but ever in your life, but it's like that's someone's bread and butter, right? That's someone's like, you're like taking away someone's livelihood or, their career, for instance. True. And the thing is, the joke that they accused me of was like a throwaway line. And what that basically means is it wasn't really a punchline to a joke. It wasn't a setup to a joke. It was just like a little throwaway that you might do to kill time, right? Or transition.
Right.
And then the other joke that they accused me of was specifically about same person.
Okay.
Was about Justin Trudeau bit about him doing brown face, and then I transitioned. Yeah, I transitioned.
100.
The punchline transitioned into my mom not getting why it was racist, and her experience of me showing a picture to her and her being like, "Oh my God, he loves us," and I'm like, "No, right?" But then they took it as like, "Yo, I did this joke first. I had the premise about the brown face Trudeau," and then word got back to them that I was doing this joke in a different city, but they came at me and like my first instinct was like, this is a comedian I looked up to. Right. And I saw them as like, yo, like if they're coming at me, I must have really messed up. Right. And then my first instinct was to apologize, like, tackle the situation and be like, yo, my bad. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. Or I didn't know that you had the similar joke. And I wrote out the joke for them.
Right.
But they were still accusing me of like taking it and like being like, yo, I'm doing you a favor by coming to you privately. And I left it alone. And like, I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was squashed. And then, as I started progressing in my career, this person names started popping up, but not in the most positive light.
Right.
There was a lot of negative connotations behind them and people were actually saying like specifically this person is known for teeth-in material.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was like one of those things where they saw me do a bit that was similar and then they're like, oh, this person's doing the same thing or whatever. But I thought it was squashed, said and done. And then years later, I heard them saying my name to someone else. Right. And they kind of brought it back to me, be like, yo, I heard you did so and so. And I'm like, dog, this was years ago. And I thought it was dead.
Yeah, it's never dead. Listen, I don't mean, I don't mean to cut you, but I'm just like, jokes, people don't own premises.
Right.
People steal jokes directly and inadvertently. We hang around for a week. We're going to talk the same. We're going to use some of the same cadences.
Yeah.
I've had many of my jokes, many of them I've heard come out of other people's mouths, especially when I started, because we all start on the same type of material.
Yeah.
Our family, beatings,
da-da-da.
So it's going to develop the way you develop as an individual. And my jokes were getting stolen by the minute to the point that I just started writing about my own family, my new material. So unless you got kids that had this problem, that problem, you can't do it.
Can't take it.
One of my favorite Crystal jokes is when she got pregnant 10 months later. And I love that.
Why are you laughing at that?
I love that because you need to have someone who had that. Crystal realized that you have to have someone that had to have 2 babies in 10 months to come tell me that's your material.
Right.
And, I
that's
started
why
off,
you did it.
Yeah, exactly. I started off my show.
She actually did it for the bit.
Exactly. Because she's tired of people like, these jokes. I start off my bit by saying my first ever joke is me bussing on me having Indian clothes under my clothes and dancing to Indian music. And I walk into Yuck Yucks one day and I see a cat that's not Indian dancing to Indian music. And they're like, Jay's right there.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a joke thief. Maybe they saw it on the show and it inspired their mind. And let's say I can take it that way. And people say that I encouraged you to come that way, but no one can tell me on no world earth that there is another black guy in England or wherever that was doing this before me. You know what I mean? But here how it goes. Joke thieves are out there. They do your stuff, but it's a part of the business. How do you experience it? Because you obviously wrote that joke because you keep hearing stuff. How do you experience it or deal with
I don't, you know what? Like I've seen, of course, not naming names, but I've seen clips go up with like my exact
words.
Yeah. Words. And then I'm like, I think I've spoken to you about this as well, right? Yeah. Where it's like, okay, what do I do here? And one time I just like, I was petty. I put a clip of like with the date, like, you know, that.
Yes.
I took it right down.
Well, you marked it out.
I did. Okay. And then I took it right down and I was like, this is, I mean, I didn't want to show it to the other person. I just wanted people to see that it's there. Cause then if people see that clip online first, they're like, oh, like Crystal stole that joke. And I'm like, no, like I did this 10 years ago.
Listen, I've had jokes that I've heard them yell, that's Trix's joke.
Right.
While I'm doing the joke.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that's my joke. And me and Trix.
Oh, we're calling out names.
No, I'm calling this particular situation. Okay. Because he would get it too. And there was a time where he would just say, it's about Africans meeting people in the club. Yeah. It's not my premise. That happens everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I gave him Kofi and I'm calling my African guy and I'm blowing the African dart. I'm doing every racial slur you can hack about Africans pulling them up in clubs. But then I realized Trix is actually African.
Yeah.
So if he does that joke about his people, it's going to sound authentically him.
Yeah.
And he acknowledged that I did it and he does it. And I'm not even calling him a joke thief for it, but it's just a premise that he delivers. And you grow. Yeah. If I have a joke that you have a joke that's similar with, like, dude, I'll just make a new joke.
Yeah. A 100. That's how I see it.
I have them coming out of my pocket everywhere. Yeah. Changing gears real quickly. Comedians, your top 4. No, top 5. Let's go top 5. Oh my gosh. Any genre, top 5. Your top 5. Hit me, Jess.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is tough. Top 5?
Top 5.
Okay, top 5, no particular order.
Yeah, let's not do it. Let's not do it.
No.
All time, I was gonna I would say Chappelle pre-Netflix. I loved his like, bro, I still think the For What It's Worth and Killing Them Softly are goated.
Yes.
That Patrice O'Neal, R.I.P., rest in peace. Bro, and honestly, this is like, I would say this is like to keep it like, to big up our local talent as well. Sterling, bro. He's been someone who's like definitely, and not even like in terms of comedic talent, but just as a person who's like given me opportunities, he's always been good to me.
Scott for
Sterling Scott. Yeah. Sterling I'll put up there. Bill Burr.
Oh, nice.
And as of recently, I would say Shane Gillis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shane's got a nice special.
Yeah. I have the same, like really Patrice.
Yes.
Chappelle.
Yes.
One that you didn't speak of is Earthquake. Listen, Earthquake specials, like the first one that came onto Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, like, you know, as comedians, you watch somebody else doing comedy and you don't laugh because you're a scientist. You're just checking it out.
Yes.
And we do things, we won't laugh, but we'll go, oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good joke. That's a great joke.
Yeah.
But when I watched Earthquake, when I tell you my face was wet, crying, like when he's describing the doctor's office with the back open, his hospital gown, and just like colonoscopy experience, I cried so hard. But yeah, like, and then local love, like you guys, we've come up with you guys. Like Sterling was one of the first that I met as well.
Yeah.
And it's not even just his comedy, like you said, it's his hustle and his grind. The man has heart.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are doing this for so long and they lose that.
They do.
But he has that right there, you know? And it's like,
you touched such a good point.
Yeah.
People will see comedians and they'll be like, they're at a club and they'll watch us, how we translate to comedians.
Yeah.
And people don't understand. We've been around comedy so long, so much, that I believe our laugh gland is beaten up. So I'll just be like hilarious.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Like,
We just
yeah.
say stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that was dope, hilarious. And people are like, you liked it? No, I loved it.
Yeah.
But we've laughed so
Yeah.
much. We don't laugh anymore.
Yeah.
You're looking at like the structure of
Yeah,
the
the
Correct.
structure of the joke. It's I wanted you guys to answer the question when I said top 5, your top 5 in any genre, to say I can't do it. Like I don't know.
Well,
I don't
that's
know how
the thing.
you
It's very
both did
difficult.
it.
It's
And I
very
think it was a trick
difficult.
question because I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My 5 are definitely rest in peace, of course. Bernie Mac. I loved
Oh
everything
my
he
God.
did.
Yeah.
I
See,
was
now we're
inspired
like,
about
you gotta
him.
remix this list.
Yeah.
Like,
This is not supposed to be 5. It was a trick
man.
question.
Yeah.
Bernie Mac showed me that he got into the game late, and I got into the game a little older.
Yeah.
And I realized that he moved to prominence. I actually went to a writing school at Humber because I was coming out with these Russell tours for 2 years,
Yeah.
thousands of people, and I felt that I couldn't talk to white people. But here I am.
right.
True hatred, love.
I
But I
can't.
went to Humber to write for him, and the professor said to me, "Wait, you perform in front of big crowds," and he used Bernie Mac as an example. When Bernie Mac came out, no one ever understood what he was saying. He was talking about, talking about.
I'm scared of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but people learn to understand your dialect when you're funny. They'll learn
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing I took out of the course. So Bernie Mac's on my list. Sorry for the long-winded. I have Oliver Samuels because
Of course.
he's Jamaican, and I was growing up in a Christian world. So everybody yells Frier,
Yeah.
Richard Pryor. I never saw Pryor till like later
Wow.
because I was a church house. And
Yeah.
you couldn't bring Pryor into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
house.
Yeah.
I loved Oliver, and I'm gonna say it because you can't say his name anymore. But Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
I loved Cosby.
Yeah.
Prior before this,
I-
hey, you want a little drink? But I love me some Cosby. Cosby
Yeah.
was my guy, and the way you do your face. Cosby
Yeah.
is the only comedian that me and my father got to take in.
Aw.
And rest his soul in peace.
Yeah.
We sat there. Guy got us Cosby tickets, and I was like, "See, Dad, this is what I want to do." So that moment is like tattooed to my brain. And
Of
he
course.
sat on a chair for an hour and a half. And when he was like, "I
100%.
think it's time to go," I'm like, "Where are you going?"
Yeah.
He made 2 hours feel like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Cosby's in my list. Red Fox is in my list.
Rest
And
in
you know
peace
what?
as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw Jim Carrey on my list
Really?
because his physical comedy through In Living Color was all my
Yeah.
boys grew up with. Like,
Right.
I get you guys watching it, but while it was happening per episode, I was in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy is not Canadian. And
Yeah.
all the comedians that came out of there were crazy.
Yeah.
But In Living Color was a piece for me. And of course, the list doesn't stop there. There's so many, like Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he just keeps taking it to another level and doesn't cease
Right.
to amaze me.
Yeah.
His one joke where he asked for stovetop stuffing,
Yeah. Yeah.
classical. He has a jar with subjects. And
Yeah.
I kicked her in the pee. And, and how he got to create it and drive us through it. Comedy is such
Yeah.
a big form of us. I couldn't know what we would do or be without comedy. I touched on your favorites. I'm going to touch on you guys. What's your year look like for you? Where can we find you? What are we looking forward to in the future for you, Krista?
So this year's really exciting.
You made it sound exciting. Like it's exciting.
So exciting. This year I wrote as one of my goals that I wanted to host my own TV show.
Okay.
And so I did that in January. We
Nice.
recorded for CHCH. It's
Yes.
called Comedy in 5. Jesse was on it as well.
Nice.
And so it's 10 episodes where I host all 10 and intro comics doing their best 5.
Nice.
That's going to be released April 20th of this year.
Okay, so check it
Yes.
out. CHCH.
Yes.
Krista's got her comedy show.
Yes.
And what about you, man?
I'm excited for that as well. So you could check that out. I was my first TV taping, which I'm
Nice.
excited for.
You're a lot of rookie first.
Yeah,
over here.
yeah, and then gonna be on that, and then also doing. It's not my first time doing a Canada-wide tour, but I'm gonna be doing an independent tour alongside my boy Abdullah. We're gonna be doing
Okay.
co-headlining together, so I'm
Nice.
looking forward to that. And you can follow me at Punjabi Timbe.
That's his follow.
Yeah.
Tell your follow.
At Crystal the Comedian.
Crystal the comedian. And my friends, I got a lot happening, a lot going on. Everyone knows Jay's got a lot going on, but I'm happy to be performing with these two on a show called Can You
Yes.
Make Them Laugh? That's going to be happening on the 28th of March at the Rama Gaming House in Mississauga.
Yes.
So you can get your tickets
Big
at
up.
ticketgateway.com, and you'll be able to see these two along with, I believe, 7 more comedians just giving laughs, man. We keep laughs cheap, $20. But Rama Gaming House, we are coming on March 28th with a bag of laughs with a lot of comedians. You guys got to keep it locked here on tplmedia.ca. Check us out. The show is hot. It's got yours truly, Mr. J. Martin, the Renaissance Man. My first guest of comedy, Jesse Singh, Ferrier. We'll be back next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep it locked right here.
Thank you.